Hi there, I'm Angela Edmonds from siplifeslowly.com. And if you have or you work with kids, one of your greatest goals is likely to build in them good quality character. And as I thought through the kind of quality character I want built into my children, one of the things that comes to mind the most is I want them to develop grit and perseverance through trials and suffering in their lives. Romans 5:3-5 says, "We also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance character, and character hope. And hope does not put us to shame, because God's love has been poured out into our hearts through the Holy Spirit who has been given to us." Now, I've been through a number of trials in my life that I wouldn't trade for anything. They were hard, some were long, some still are ongoing. But I wouldn't trade them because of how God has revealed himself to me, to my heart, and how I know him in a way I wouldn't have had I not gone through the trials. I can't wish upon my children trials to help them develop perseverance and grit. However, I can help them look at godly examples of people who have gone through trials well. And I can also introduce them to books that help them to think through and gain perspective on what good quality perseverance looks like through difficulties. So today I want to share with you 7 children's books. Each of them portrays a child going through something difficult, a trial, something that's suffering or difficult for them to achieve a goal. And I think each of these books are real quality books to read to your children or to any children you're working with. So I'm going to share with you some books so you can pick some that you think might work best for your children. The first book I want to share with you is The Most Magnificent Thing. The little girl in this book has in mind some magnificent thing that she wants to create with her assistant, her puppy dog. And as they go through the book, as they work toward creating it, it turns out to be a lot harder than she had estimated. She goes through a lot of failure, even blows up, as many children and even adults do sometimes, in frustration. She gives up and then finds the benefit of a little bit of rest. When she and her assistant come back to their work, they're able to create a not perfect, but it is that magnificent thing she had in mind. It's funny, it's honest, and it's very relatable. So it's a great book. The second book I want to share with you is Rosie Revere, Engineer. This book is a beautiful book. It's written like a poem. It's in rhyme. And I have yet to get through this book without crying, actually. It's about a little girl who dreams of becoming a great engineer. And she hides away and tinkers in her attic and creates things because there's been a point where she was laughed at and not believed in by people she dearly loves, and she's gotten to a point where she doesn't believe in herself. But in the end, her great aunt Rose, who actually is relating to history, the history of Rosie the Riveter, and her great aunt Rose teaches her that flops are not to be feared, but they're to be celebrated. It's a beautiful little funny book, and again, I can't get through it without crying. The third book I'd like to share is A Whistle for Willie by Ezra Jack Keats. It's a down-to-earth delight. It colorfully captures a little boy who wants to whistle to surprise his dog. He, like the other kids, goes through a long time of trying to accomplish his goal. In the middle, my boys love the part where the little boy pretends to be his dad and his mom plays along. Like the others, his perseverance pays off, and it's just a fun, honest little book. The fourth book is Brave Irene by William Steig. In this book, Irene is brave and loving. Her mother has created a gown for a ball that night for the Duchess, but she's too sick to carry it to the Duchess. So Irene bravely volunteers to take it to the Duchess through a fierce snowstorm and bitter cold. You see a long journey that she goes through. At one point, the gown even flies away. But her perseverance pays off, and in the end, you can see just what a brave, courageous, kind, and thoughtful little girl she is. The fifth book is Emmanuel's Dream by Lori Ann Thompson and Sean Qualls. It's a true story of a boy named Emmanuel who grew up in Ghana where disability meant inability. And he set out to prove that even though he had one leg, he was very able. And in this story, he rides 400 miles across Ghana and even changes his own culture in promoting the reality that disability does not mean inability. The sixth book is The Dance of the Violin, which is also a true story of a boy named Joshua Bell who grew up to be one of the greatest classical violinists of our time. This is the story of his very first competition, when as a young boy he decided to play a very difficult piece, even for adults, against even the wishes of his teacher, because he saw magic in the piece. I love how his love of music and the art and magic of music shines through and helps him to even overcome a blunder to play his very best. The seventh and last book I'd like to share today, though it's not the last book I've read that shows perseverance and grit for children, is The Girl and the Bicycle by Mark Pett. This is a story of a little girl who has a dream of getting a bicycle. She sees it in the window at a store, and she goes out and hunts down ways to make money. She finds a good way to make money, and she saves her money and saves it up. And when she finally goes to the store to get her bicycle, it's gone. In the end, you see her making a great sacrifice, and then you see a very happy ending. It's a picture book, so there are no words in this one. All of these books show grit and determination, perseverance through trial, and even a bit of success at the end. Not perfection, but each child learns the perspective of going through something difficult, and I hope they help your children or the children that you care about to learn that as well. I found all mine at the library, so if you found any that you think you'd like to read, I hope you can find yours at your library as well. Again, this is Angela for SipLifeSlowly.com. If you like this, please follow below.